Hi, Chris Westfall here of the Senior Savings Network. Today we received a call from someone who had purchased a very inexpensive, I call cheap, Medicare supplement plan from a company they had never heard of before. That may be good. The agent told them that all Medicare supplement companies are exactly the same, the plans are the same, and it does not matter what the name is on your ID card. What we found, I've been a licensed agent now for 24 years, 1995, time flies. What we found over those years is, first of all, the benefits are the same. The Medicare supplements are completely standardized, so a Plan G with one company is supposed to be exactly the same benefits as a Plan G from another company. Here's the rub, and here's the problem that this person had. When they try to call customer service on simple things, in this case it was to change banking information just for a direct deposit withdrawal from their premium, they get somebody that's overseas. It sounds like they're overseas. You can't really tell because you don't know where these people are nowadays. But the point is, their customer service was outsourced to someone else. And many times, someone, American person, who just wants to talk to somebody who seems like they understand, and you don't have to repeat things over and over and over again for them to understand what the problem is in the first place, they get a little frustrated when they have to deal with someone who it sounds to them like they're overseas and they don't understand the culture, the problem, the solution, and you don't have 100% confidence that they're going to respond and fix the problem that you're calling in about.
In this era of globalization, it's common for customer queries to be rerouted to India and answered by someone pretending to be your local service provider.
Thank you so much for verifying that. Mr. Jones, how can I help you today?
It reminds me of a case a while back. There was a more complicated case. It was involving a claim, and the person wanted to know what is wrong with this claim. Why did this claim not get approved? But they were a client somewhere else with a small, unknown, they never heard of them before, company. They had to speak with someone who to them had what they described as a very strong foreign accent, and they could not understand that they were merely calling in to find out the status and why a particular claim was not paid. As an insurance agent, we know the importance, of course, of getting a claim paid, especially when you're expecting a claim to get paid, and there could have been a communication error or that kind of thing. But what happened was when you have somebody that appears to be, anyway, overseas, and they don't exactly understand the problem, and then here's the most frustrating part. You've probably dealt with this with dealing with, whatever it is, satellite radio, cable television, or whatever it is, we have to call in someone, or even a bank.
In Delhi's call centers, employees are taught to speak and think like their customers.
You need to be very careful at this point that you're also telling the customer that you're there for them, because they a lot of the times will call and want reassurance. Okay, so you want to try these three words or these three phrases with that gusto, with that energy, telling them, sure, it's not a problem and I can do this for you. Sure. Okay.
And then the person that's on the other end of the phone who has this really deep foreign accent has to then reach out to their American counterpart, a different office, different location, in order to communicate what you've already said and transfer the call to them. So it's one added layer, it's one added step, and then you get to the next person after nobody knows how long that's going to take, and you get over there, and then you have to all over again explain the whole situation because the notes typed in by the first person who took the call, outsourced, didn't really understand what the nature of the problem was to begin with. The reason why we don't sell itty-bitty, tiny-weeny, little brand-new companies that are just now startups or B minus rated companies that are in the marketplace is not because the benefits are any better with the A or A plus rated carriers that we do represent. And we do a lot of vetting and what we call due diligence to look behind the scenes and see who's funding them, see who's reinsuring them. And very importantly, and sometimes agents get this wrong, who is administering that plan? Who's going to take the call when our client calls in there? Do they have a phone room of hundreds of people ready to respond to that, like our carriers that we've chosen to deal with and that I've visited their offices in person do? No. Many times these brand new companies, and oftentimes they're reflected in the rates as the cheapest possible rate, and they probably started within the last 300 days. The new med sub companies that you've probably never heard of before, they're not known in the marketplace. What they try to do to save costs many times is they outsource the customer service, which is the very thing that we pride ourselves on delivering to the ultimate customer. I know my mom, who has a Medicare supplement through me, would not like to, and she's voiced this many times over the years, call into a call center, to try to get help or get a resolution on something, to only have it outsourced by somebody and received on the other end by somebody that she just doesn't understand, who doesn't have the power to fix a problem, much less even get it to the next person. Then you have to go to the next person again, maybe another transfer to another transfer, and then finally you get an American. Now, no offense to anybody from any other country, they're great, I'm sure, but an American problem should probably have an American solution. So finally, when it gets to an American person who can understand and solve the problem, you've been frustrated by press 1, press 2, press 9, transfer, I don't understand you, let me transfer. We want to avoid all that. So everything else being the same, the benefits are the same, the Medicare supplements accepted anywhere that accepts original Medicare, go to any provider, all that's great. But we also don't forget the component of customer service on the back end. When you have problems, who can you call? Hopefully you have an agent that understands the claims process, that understands the billing process, and can help guide you through those things and get it changed. But when you have that ID card, you have to have some kind of certainty that when you call the number, when you need it the most, and you're stressing out about a health condition and also the coverage, that the person at the other end of that phone call can understand what the heck you're talking about. So that's why we do our vetting. That's why we don't take every brand new company coming down the pike. As much incentives as they throw at us, which seems lately like these no-name off-brand companies are throwing incentive after incentive after incentive, sometimes $150 per case, saying to us agents, please write my case with this new company. We're going to be great. We're going to be big. We're launching next week. Well, I'll be sitting those out. My agents and I understand the importance of customer service. We understand the importance of vetting those small companies, vetting any company before we represent that company. So I have over 3,000 agents across the country that are contracted through me and learn through our membership site how to sell Medicare supplements, how to communicate those benefits to people. And I tell them all the time, you're going to be attacked from the left and from the right. Once you're a licensed agent, it seems like everyone wants to come at you and say, sell my product. The problem is you have to be very careful and very selective at who you represent, who you put your name and your trusted brand behind in the marketplace. Because just when somebody's coming up with you with an incentive like $150 application bonus for turning your application to that, if that's the single most driving factor with a no-name branded, unbranded company you've never heard of before, there's a problem there. And I firmly believe, and this is going to challenge some people and probably offend some, as I typically do, that's an ethics challenge to an agent. Do I go with a company that I know is hardcore, backed, 150 years old, has a call center that's going to help people with customer service with hundreds of people on the floor, ready to answer that call within the first few rings as soon as it's transferred to them? They know the Medicare program in and out. They can pull up your record and make a final determination and a decision to fix your problem right then and there. Or are they outsourced because they're cheap, they're just getting started, they're lowest price in the marketplace, and sometimes, as my mom told me, you get what you pay for. I'm Chris Westfall of the Senior Savings Network. If I can ever help you with your Medicare plan, please call us at 800-729-9590. God bless you. Thanks for watching.